York Yankees baseball is brought to you by Hentgen. Just being the best is enough. By the AT&T Business Advantage. Let it work for you. And by Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Center.
Fans and vendors alike hoping that today will not be the last day of the 1994 season, but it's anybody's guess as to the result of the labor dispute baseball finds itself facing this afternoon and tonight as the schedule runs out on the late West Coast games this evening. Melido, Perez on the mound for the Yankees, and this is the lineup he'll face, presented by 7-Eleven. Schofield, Alomar, Melido, the DH. Carter, Olerud, and Huff in the middle. Cole, Sprague, and Borders rounding out Cito Gaskin's lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays.
The defense behind Melido, Perez this afternoon, brought to you by Robert Stock, the designer for the American family. Mattingly was charged with an error yesterday, but he's still the best, maybe of all time. I think it's interesting. We talk about preparation. Well, a guy who helps prepare the infielders and sets them, even Don Mattingly, is a guy named Clete Boyer, a great defensive player. You look at the outfield behind Perez today, and a young Brian Butterfield works with that. Holding base runners on, Perez does that well. The slide steps and throwing over and all the other things are called by another coach, Billy Connors, all part of the program that Buck Showalter sets up for his coaching staff related to the players, and it's really instilled a great defensive attitude in this ball club.
We saw the numbers on Perez looking for his 10th win. He's been pitching well, although he is coming off that 10-4 loss on the road against the Twins in Minneapolis his last time out. Lasted 5 2/3, charged with 8 runs, 9 hits. And he'll face Dick Schofield to start this one. Schofield leading off in the absence of Devon White. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. White's had some leg problems.
They've had their share of injuries.
Off.
You know, Alomar's a little back problem.
Ground ball to the right side. Kelly with the flip to Mattingly to get Schofield. So this one is underway. A pleasant afternoon. 76 degrees here in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. A wonderful day for baseball.
It almost is like a fall day, late September, early October, isn't it?
Yep.
It has come early this year in more ways than one.
Here's Roberto Alomar. Alomar hitting .308. .326 left-handed. And the first pitch from Perez in there for a strike.
So if the worst-case scenario is played out and there is no postseason play, does that mean the Blue Jays still have a chance to three-peat? You know, going to next year, do they get another chance? I mean, there's so many ramifications of what's going on aside from individual great years, an exciting season.
Check swing and a bouncer right back to Perez for the out. Well, all of those things, frankly, just to have to contemplate all of those issues, it's really disgusting. When you consider what could have been this year, and it appears right now that it is a foregone conclusion that there will be a work stoppage. Boy, what a great thing it could have been all the way around.
You know, a thing that's been impressive to me, and we just saw 3 games with the Orioles. We televised 2 of them, and of course Scooter had his day on PIX, the middle game of that series. How hard both teams played throughout and how hard both managers managed. I mean, you got guys who are going to miss paychecks. They know it. And no, none of these players, I don't think, are going to have a benefit for them because they are making very nice money.
Paul Molitor takes the pitch high.
But the quality of play we've seen and the fan reaction to that quality of play has been outstanding for 3 straight days.
Yeah, I thought the reaction we saw last night in the 7th inning of that game from the fans was outstanding, as was displayed by Boggs. Wade to Mattingly to get Molitor. 3 ground balls and a 1-2-3 first for Perez against Toronto.
For all the ways there are to work up a thirst, 7-Eleven has over 300 ways to quench it. No one puts out a fire like 7-Eleven.
Thank heaven. picture yourself 20 years from now? Will you be comfortable? Happy? Chase can help. We make available a wide range of investment alternatives, including the Vista family of mutual funds. Call today, so when it's time to stop and smell the roses, you can enjoy the whole garden. Stop by or call 1-800-AT-CHASE. Chase Manhattan.
For home theater sound that will envelop you, for music that'll get you up on your feet, Yamaha and nobody beats the Wiz. Home entertainment totally in a class of its own.
Well, the possibility of a work stoppage has clouded the 1994 season. A cloud directly overhead and dark at the moment.
That's World Series atmosphere in the press box, isn't it? Rob Butcher, the PR director, a short while ago had to make an announcement. It's like standing room only. You see him in the back saying only accredited media with the proper credentials get those seats. If they've got an overflow.
They have the auxiliary press box open, and it's occupied here as well today as Pat Hentgen goes to the mound. Hentgen, in what has been a tough year for the Blue Jays, is 13-8 with the 5th best earned run average in the league, and the Yankee lineup to face him breaks out this way for 7-11. Polonia, Boggs, O'Neill, Danny Tarnable back as the DH. Mattingly and Stanley, Bernie Williams in center, followed by Gallego and Kelly.
Behind Hentgen, Schofield's had a heck of a year this year. Devon White, as Dwayne told you, out with a knee problem, so Huff fills in. Alomar's not quite at full strength most of the year. He's maintained a 300-plus batting average, but he hasn't stolen as much and has had some leg and some back problems. Hentgen's the ace of this staff, Dwayne, and boy, they said a few years back, some of the scouts for the Blue Jays said they didn't know if he's going to be tough enough to pitch in the big leagues. They have found out differently.
A 19-game winner last year, 13-8 this year. Included among the 13 wins, 3 shutouts. And here's Luis Polonia. He starts today with a foul ball off the mask of Pat Borders. Polonia hitting .311 to start this game, and that's his season high.
Pat Borders really gets smoked by this foul ball. Pat, one of those who probably spending his last season in the Blue Jay uniform, and that's what they speculate. You know, the way the Blue Jays approach that first inning, Schofield, Alomar, and Molitor, as if they're playing a game late in spring training. Let's get the season on with. Going after first pitches and check swings off Perez, and Louis jumps on the first one.
Strike, 0-2.
He's got a good fastball, a good curve. He's working on a little splitter that Cito Gaston really has said, look, stick with some kind of changeup. It's been somewhat effective.
This pitch is up, and Polonia fouls this one back.
High fastball pitcher. You can see what he has done on a Chrysler Performance pitching chart. You know, he had trouble with a slider that was causing him elbow tenderness, so he's gone to a little cut fastball. That's, I don't know, that might have been a change, that splitter.
The count is a ball and 2 strikes. Hentgen, great numbers across the board. 5th in the league in strikeouts with 143. And he just adds to that list a fastball with a little ride to it. And Polonia is out on strikes to start the Yankee first.
We had a speed gun in last night's game on some of the players. We showed Jimmy Key topping out at about 84. Hentgen right here has got to be 93, 94. You don't lay off that pitch up in the zone, you're in big trouble. And then he changes the eye level by hanging that good hook on you. Get you downstairs, too.
Here's Wade Boggs. Wade is now 6th in the American League in hitting, batting .341. This one down at end, ball 1. Well, the second half has been a little better for the Blue Jays than the first half. They come in 17 games behind the Yankees, 54-60.
Their pitching has gotten better since the All-Star break. About an earned run, 1 run per game.
Schofield to Oldenrud on the bouncer off the bat of Wade Boggs. 2 up, 2 down, and the Yankee first. And now Paul O'Neill. O'Neill to hit with the bases empty and 2 gone. Hitting .364 on the GMC truck leaderboard, leading Albert Bell, who's at .357. So even if O'Neill went 0 for 4 today, he'd still figure ahead of Bell and Frank Thomas. Pitch drops too low. 1 ball, no strikes. White Sox and the Indians are not active today. There's a strike, and the count is 1-1.
And that was something that was asked of Buck Showalter. Would he sit O'Neill down? And something like Ted Williams here, he had 400 last 400 hitter, and he said, well, you can hit a base hit and sit down. That's an I'm playing a doubleheader, and he raised his average about 7 points. And Paul said, told Buck, no, I'm playing. I'm going all the way.
1-2. There's a chop to the right side. Alomar from the outfield makes the throw to Olerud. And the Yankees are finished in the first. A strikeout and 2 ground balls. At the end of an inning from Yankee Stadium. No score.
Dime Savings Bank congratulates Captain Mark Messier and the rest of the 1994 Stanley Cup champion New York Rangers.
Okay, so I tend to put things off. For me, the time just has to be right. Like, I meet this amazing girl, and she's coming over tonight. It's like with Rogaine. I've been meaning to check it out. This is important to me. I thought about calling lots of times. You know when I called? Today. This was my time.
It could be your time, too. To find out more about Rogaine with minoxidil, call this 800 number now. You'll get a free information kit filled with facts to help answer your questions about Rogaine. And since you need a prescription to get Rogaine, you'll also get a list of local doctors offering a free private consultation to help you decide if Rogaine is right for you. So call today.
Hi.
Hi. Nice place.
Call now, 1-800-809-0111 for a free information kit.
Every child has a mother, a father, a name. Every child has a language and something to say. Every child has a gift, a laugh, a dream. In our world, there are millions of children, and every child needs medicine, clean water, nutrition, education. UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, because every child is our child.
This copyrighted telecast is authorized under rights granted by the New York Yankees solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Yankees and Madison Square Garden Network is prohibited. Clear highway on the Deegan there as we move into the second inning. Joe Carter, followed by John Olerud, and then Mike Huff in the second. Carter comes in at 270, 102 runs batted in for Joe Carter. Melido misses low and away, ball 1.
There have been several reach 100 RBIs in a big hurry. How about poor Jeff Bagwell, huh?
Oh, yeah, broken hand last night.
By Andy Bennis.
1 ball, 1 strike. 9 straight seasons with at least 98 runs batted in for Carter, joining Jimmy Fox, Lou Gehrig, and Al Simmons. And a soft liner hit to short, and Gallego makes the grab. Carter, the 18th player in big league history to drive in 100 runs in at least 6 consecutive years, with the 102 this year.
You wonder how Joe Carter has been allowed to move around as much as he had with that kind of production. Those kind of guys are hard to find. You talk about whether San Diego or Cleveland, Blue Jays, the Cubs originally.
How about this deal?
Incredible.
How about trading 2 future Hall of Famers? How many times have we had 2 Hall of Famers? Olerud puts one down in, and you figure at this point, Carter, you have to project him as a Hall of Famer. You have to project Alomar as a potential Hall of Famer. Line drive into right for a base hit. So off the 1-0 pitch, John Olerud has the first hit of the game. How many deals in the history of the game could we find, I wonder, where 2 Hall of Famers would go the same way in a deal?
If that's a quiz, you stumped me.
I can't think of another time. It might be an interesting little research project. Mike Huff Huff's been hitting the ball, playing center field with White out of the lineup. Low and outside for a ball. Huff had some injury problems this year. Spent some time on the disabled list and sideline at a sprained left knee.
You can hit and run with him. He's got pretty good bat control.
2-0 the count.
One of those valuable players like Randy Velarde. Huff, of course, got stuck with the Dodgers organization for a while behind a lot of guys that were more glamorous type players, runners or throwers or more power. He kind of hangs around and does a nice job.
3-0 the count. Carter lined to short before the single by John Olerud. Now Perez behind Huff. That's in there for a strike, running the count to 3-1.
I'll tell you, Melido's comeback's been pretty good this year, too. We talked about some of the key players for the Yankees this year to get them where they are. 28 games above 500 at this stage with a 7-game lead over the Orioles.
This one's out of play down the right side.
Melido's done it.
On the verge of winning his 10th game if he can notch a victory today.
Had to do it, changing his pitching pattern, coming off the shoulder cleanup during the offseason and surgery, and to pitch in and out, and not use his forkball as much, throw a few more sliders. A very positive sign, another plus for the Yankees.
And upstairs, ball 4. Olerud will go to second on the walk to Huff. So single and a walk, 2 men on with 1 out. Bringing along Donnell Coles.
One thing Melido's not done, at least recently, has been able to throw in situations like this, that ground ball double play. He's pretty much a fly ball pitcher. Sometimes that splitter down will get the ground ball, which he perhaps is looking for right now.
Coles hitting .210. And the pitch is in there to him. This is the first start this year for Perez against Toronto. He was 1-0 in a couple starts last year, and his lifetime record against the Blue Jays 4-7, although the lifetime ERA is pretty good, a little over 3.20. Coles over the top of this one.
I think you find a few of those situations with Perez coming off a couple of seasons ago where he had the good ERA but had almost no run support. This offense, starting to build last year, makes it a little bit easier on pitchers. They can come back if you have control problem early, give up runs early. It's comforting to a pitcher.
1 ball, 2 strikes. We're in the second inning. Strike on that corner. Coles thought it was wide. He's caught looking for out number 2.
Perez and Mike Stanley have got to like that kind of call from Matt Winans, the home plate umpire. Expanding the strike zone to that degree, boy, that makes it tougher to hit. This ball is going to be 6-8 inches outside. How revealing is that camera upstairs, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's
Cole's
something.
He's wondering, would that be a strike to Paul Molitor or to Wade Boggs?
And in the World Series last couple of years when they used those cameras, the networks, some of the umpires and Richie Phillips, the umpires representative, complained. I really think they ought to take shots like that and use it as a teaching tool for umpires. They look at it as a plus. They look, guys, this was your strike zone on that pitch. You'd almost want that camera there all the time. It would improve the quality of umpiring, I think.
1 ball, no strikes. Sprague sends this one down the middle, deep to center. Bernie Williams back, and it's off the top of the wall. Olerud will score. Huff is on his way to the plate. Sprague digging for 3, and he's in there with his first triple of the year. So Sprague driving in 2 with a triple off the top of the center field wall. The Blue Jays have been looking all year long for some punch in the bottom part of the order. Sprague delivers here.
Little slider out over the plate. Bernie has trouble picking it up, but even if he had gotten a great jump, it's nearly out of the ballpark within 6 inches. But 1 ball, no strikes. He's got to throw a little fatter slider to try and throw a strike. and Sprague, who tries to pull everything. Larry Heisler's hitting instructors try to get him to go the other way to make him a more productive hitter. And that time he went straight away.
There's Pat Borders taking a strike. So the Blue Jays jump out to a 2-0 lead.
Oh, those base on balls. Flash used to say, huh? Base on balls to Huff.
Check swing and a roller back to Perez. He'll take care of that to retire the side. 2-run score for Toronto. 2 hits and a man left. Bottom of inning 2 coming. 2-0 Blue Jays.
I don't get it. Some guy bats .228 and makes $3 million bucks.
Can you imagine what Willie Mays would be worth today?
Yeah.
No holiday sweepstakes.
Another Heineken, right?
Yeah, please.
No blimp with our name on it. No racing team.
Hey, Mays.
None of that is what made Heineken the #1 imported beer in America.
Where's all that money come from?
Ticket prices.
Yeah, I guess.
And all those beer commercials.
I can take care of myself in the ring, but in my car, I trust Meineke for safe, reliable brake service at a low price.
Now more than ever, at Meineke, you're not going to pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
I guarantee it.
Get out those championship rings.
Those MVP things?
We're going to score a zillion points or more.
Because we're together now.
And you know what we're hungry for. I'm hungry for a McDonald's triple cheeseburger, extra value meal, supersize it. Just 39 cents more for more drink and more fries.
And the Dream Team 2-cup when you supersize.
Supersize any extra value meal.
For a puny price.
After lunch, that world championship will taste nice.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
So I saw this new GMC Jimmy, and I said, hey, I already have a car, but this is better because it can carry things. And a Jimmy's comfortable, and it's strong, and it's tough, and it's so cool. And it drives just like a car, only it's a truck, which is great when I want to get away from it all and still take some of it with me. And you sit way up high like you own the world. And the GMC truck dealer had a special lease on it with a low payment I could actually afford. And I want one now because it's bigger, better, badder like a truck, but it rides just like a car. Jimmy from GMC Truck. Anyway, I already have a car.
See your tri-state GMC truck dealer.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by SBLI, the smart way to buy life insurance. Yankees down 2-0, bottom of the second. They're facing Pat Hentgen, and Danny Tartable is back in the lineup. Tartable, the designated hitter for the Yankees, with 18 home runs. Danny has not played since Monday after x-rays on his left elbow were negative. He was hit by a pitch in Monday's game against Baltimore. Line drive into left center. Cole's cutting over and will make the catch for the out.
You know, Danny's numbers have not been lousy, but you know, I think some people are disappointed, including Danny. He really has had some streaks as far as hitting the ball well, but not those streaks where he drives the ball with power. Did Don clarify some of the things today that were written in the papers regarding...
Yeah, Don Mattingly on the Budweiser quote book. If this thing goes through the winter and spring and goes against what I feel as a person, I don't know if I'd play again. On the possibility of a prolonged strike, Mattingly takes a strike there. He thought some of the play it got was overblown a little bit in terms of, well, this might be his final game, and this one is foul out of play. 0-2. Of course, he had talked about the possibility with a year left on his contract. At the end of the contract, that might be it for him.
I know he told that to Tom Padula, which is written a couple of weeks ago, I get, that he will honor his contract. And of course, that, you know, I guess according to his condition and the strike situation, as you said.
That's going to go through into center field for a base hit. So Mattingly has the first Yankee hit, a ground ball into center field. 1 on, 1 out. I think Don's feelings were that perhaps the presentation of that story a little more dramatic than he meant it to be.
And you wonder, too, if he's having a continuing problem with the wrist, if there is some more corrective surgery that can be done. I don't know if that's even a possibility, as was done last season. Assuming it's the same area, I don't know that for a fact. The Yankees have been very close-mouthed about that.
Now Mike Stanley looks at a Stanley is hitting .302. 17 home runs. After that slow start, slow April and May as well, and he had a great June, super July, and has continued to hit the ball well here the first week and a half into August.
Tough guy to defend again. You know, he's got that part of right center field, and yet you try and jam inside. You can look for a pitch and turn on that. You can string a defense out and get him confused.
Counts a ball and a strike.
You know, I think sometimes people don't realize how strong Mike Stanley is. You know, we hear about Tartable and Noakes and some of the others who pump a lot of iron, but you see him turn on the ball and get that top hand, and he can get some severe hook and overspin on balls. I think he's hitting the high pitch a little bit better this year. He had an excellent year last year.
This one's foul. Out of play the other way, running it to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Deal of the century in baseball right there. When Gene Michael got him and got him on that 3-year deal, it was kind of a backup for, you know, catcher. No renegotiations involved. And here's a guy who's got a lot to lose. He's not getting any younger. You know, Reedy hasn't been into the money flow like a lot of players with his numbers have gotten because of the contract.
He drives this one high and deep to right, but Carter will have room on the warning track and makes the catch for the second out.
Of all the players the last 2 years and again this year that we say more often just missed it, I think you can probably say more of him, more than Danny Tartable. So often he hits those long warning track deals where he's just, you know, that half-inch, quarter of an inch beneath it. You can see where Borders is set up. Breaking ball and in a pretty good spot. Low and down. Looked like Mike was shooting that way, maybe looking for a curveball. Yeah, he did just miss it.
Here's Bernie Williams. Bernie had a hit last night. 7-game hitting streak for him. Up around .375 for the last week during the life of that streak. 1 ball, no strikes, and .291 for the year.
And I don't think Buck Showalter gets more joy out of watching a player than this guy's progress right here. You know, after the start that he had and the rough spring, coming up with the shoulder problems. Another guy who Buck has learned how to handle. He's a people manager.
Fouls this one back. The count is 1-1.
At Buck's age, I don't know if you can recall a man that young in his position with all the pressures of this organization and this city who has handled people and deflected things as well as Buck has. I mean, that his grandpa and pops really trained him right.
He has been the right man for this Yankee job the last couple years. I can't think of a better selection.
You know, La Russa at that age was very, you know, really a bright mind. For the fear of being considered chauvinistic, the driving force in Buck's life was his mom. Okay?
Well, nothing wrong with that.
Just in case this thing's over this year, we want to be politically correct.
Yeah. Ground ball, shortstop, and Schofield beats Mattingly to the bag to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, with a man left on base through 2-0 Toronto.
So Brett congratulates Captain Mark Messier and the rest of the 1994 Stanley Cup champion New York Rangers.
Hey fans, how about this special offer from Yankees Magazine? Every month you get player features, statistics, great color action photos, in-depth minor league reports, and much more. Subscribe now and receive 12 big issues at the special introductory price of just $14.97. Order by credit card. Just call 1-800-9-YANKS-9 or just send a check or money order for $14.97 to this address.
August serves up another great month of red-hot summer sports action on MSG Network. The New York Yankees look to keep things smoking in the season's second half. They battle the Kansas City Royals, the Texas Rangers, but Cecil and the Detroit Tigers. Stay on top of all the pinstripe team news, features, and highlights with the show that's a must for Bomber fans. Get it all every week on Yankees Magazine. Take a trip overseas and see some of today's finest golfers battle it out on the links. Don't miss the beauty and challenge of the European PGA. Grab your shades and catch the coastline craze from beautiful locations all over the country. Take in all the the sun and fun with two-man pro beach volleyball. August is a big month for tennis fans with action including the men's Citibank Champions, the Austrian Open, and the OTB International. Take full swings at today's hard-hitting sports issues with the man who pulls no punches. Bob Page hosts Page 1. Plus, you can always get all the scores and stories every night with MSG Sports Desk. Touch of all, with all the great August sports action on MSG Network, the best in the game.
Reminder, a special edition of Sports Desk on the strike coming up tonight at 11 p.m. Bob Page will host that. We'll hear from Michael Kay. And the interview from last week's rain delay in Milwaukee with Bud Selig will also be part of that. On to the third, top of the order. Dick Schofield leads off and fouls this one out of play. Strike one.
Unlikely leadoff hitter with the Blue Jays leading 2-0 on the strength of Sprague's two-run triple. Schofield's had a pretty good year. In fact, his lifetime average is below 250, and he's hitting over that right now. So he's been hitting the ball the opposite way a little bit better. Yeah.
And he sends this one up the middle and a base hit into center. A leadoff single here in the third inning for Dick Schofield. Hit number 3 off Perez.
Larry Heisel has closed his stance down a little bit and flattened his bat out. He was one of those guys who would hit those fly balls. He'd go 350, 60 feet up in the air and leveling it out. He's hitting more line drives, more ground balls like that. And there's Larry.
You talk about a people person, Buck Showalter. How about Larry Heisel? Here's Roberto Alomar. This one is too low, ball one. Roberto,
you know,
308.
When you look at the first and second hitters, Schofield and Alomar, both of whom have verbalized, as has Ken Griffey Jr., as has Brett Boone, third generation of major leaguers, Ray and Bob before them. Hey, look, we are going to do for the next generation of players what the prior generation did for us. And these guys, in their case, they're talking about their fathers and grandfathers in the Boone's case. There's a unique,
low, 2 balls, no strikes.
Unique solidarity. I mean,
well, you know, the players understand that the fans are turned off by this whole idea of the work stoppage. They know that. They recognize that. And at the same time, I think if you talk with them around the batting cage in the clubhouse, they know that it's a complicated issue. There's a strike. And they wish the fans maybe had a little better understanding of the intricacies of the deal. But they don't blame the fans for being frustrated and upset. The players themselves would prefer to play. And I think we've seen that.
Sure.
The caliber of play the last few days here and what we're seeing today.
Well, they're
ball players. Oh, look at this stop by Mattingly, saving an error. Mattingly will get a hand for that stop on that effort. Perez almost threw it away on the pickoff attempt at first on Schofield, and Don made a great play.
And this
They're
is
ball
why,
players.
yeah.
They would prefer to play baseball. They want to play.
Well, they don't want sympathy. They just want a little understanding and what the freedom issue is all about. You know, I think Mattingly, in some of the comments he's made, has summed it up as well as anybody. You know, when that young 8-year-old had that sign in the stand, no strike, no strike. And the youngster didn't understand, Mattingly said. The father probably wrote the sign, but he just went over and said, no choice. They have not been given that.
Foul back, and the count runs to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out with Schofield at first. Blue Jays with 2 runs home in the second inning, leading 2-0 as we now play in the third. Alomar fouls this one out of play.
Another nice afternoon crowd here Thursday afternoon with a lot of workers. I don't know if they had their vacation, but out here. And I'm not so sure that these people are out here because they think it might be the last game. I really think the majority out here because the Yankees have had a good year, and they're seeing some pretty good baseball. And they're probably going to go 30,000 today on a Thursday afternoon.
The 3-2. Fly ball into right field, and O'Neill is right there. Kept the hands in, and Perez gets Alomar.
We've talked about that for weeks, and I don't know if Billy Connors has consciously asked that his pitchers pitch hard in more often, including this ballpark. And right there, that pitch sails in and gets Alomar tied up inside. Billy Connors has got this staff third in the league in team ERA. There's been a steady progression over the last couple of years. You know, Tony Cloninger starting it last year. He's down in the bullpen now, and Billy picked it up. And, you know, when you think of the free agents that were acquired, you know, Xavier Hernandez in the trade and Mulholland, they haven't really pulled their weight. I mean,
There's Paul Molitor, hitting .343. Melido misses upstairs for a ball. Yankees have been out hit 3-1 and trailed 2-0.
The swing right here and the approach that Buck Showalter considers the best in the game. He said, excluding present company, meaning his own team like Mattingly and Boggs and Paul O'Neill. But he said, that's the guy right here, Paul Molitor.
2-0 the count. And he said, while it's not necessarily the approach that you would teach, there's just no movement.
Simple.
Very slight step there by the front foot.
Not much can go wrong with it, can there? That's why he's so consistent.
And this one is skied out of play.
They always talk about a, you know, slight stride, don't overstride the lunge, a nice little smooth takeaway. Well, Molitor has almost no stride and almost no takeaway to prepare himself.
He waits and waits and waits and then can explode. It'll be so quick.
It's like my Abyssinian cats when they're mousing.
Yeah.
Great eyesight, great recognition, whappo. Don't even bother to buy a trap.
Runner's going, and the pitch is lined back into center. Bernie Williams is there to make the catch. Got a chance to double up, and the throw is not in time. Schofield, who was breaking on the pitch, got back ahead of Bernie Williams' throw.
And Dick, who learned from his pops, Ducky, who was a middle infielder also, and a pretty good shortstop on some World Championship teams. As he is off and running, he hears the ball at the bat, but more than that, he's looking out of the corner of his eye as Gallego and Kelly are trying to deke him, and Schofield knew exactly where the ball was.
2 outs here in the third. Schofield hustling back to first and is there with Joe Carter stepping in.
How about Don trying to decoy him, too, like the throw is not coming, just standing nonchalantly?
Carter follows this one in for strike one. Joe lined to shortstop his first time.
Has there been a more dramatic home run than his than last season? Maybe Mazeroski's. His end of the World Series in 6. Mazeroski's was the 7th game winner.
1 ball and 1 strike. Long look down at Nick Leyva, his third base coach.
Yeah, Nick playing very deep for Carter because Nick's been very close to getting creamed several times, especially the way Carter hooks the ball.
Schofield back in at first on the quick move this time by Perez.
There's Nick. You know, Tom Cheek, one of the broadcasters for the Blue Jays, was telling me how many times he got hit, and he said, how did Frankie Crissetti at his age get out of the way? I said, very simple. We were taught to hit the ball fair.
Runner's going. The pitch is high, and the throw is not in time. A steal for Schofield, and he got a great jump off Perez.
Good pitch to throw on, but this was not stolen off, as you said, Mike Stanley. This was stolen off Melido Perez, who is so focused. Look at this. He's got 2 or 3 strides before Melido has even gone in his motion. He's got 8 before the ball leaves his hand. Uncatchable by Stanley.
2-1 to Carter is upstairs. 3 balls and a strike with Schofield at second. That steal, the 79th of the year for the Blue Jays, and Schofield now 7 stolen bases and 7 caught stealings. Jammed him, and a popper back to first. Foul, caught by Mattingly. A good 3-1 pitch by Perez to get Carter. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Bottom of the third coming. 2-0 Toronto.
Picture yourself 20 years from now. Will you be comfortable? Happy? Chase can help. We make available a wide range of investment alternatives, including the Vista family of mutual funds. Call today, so when it's time to stop and smell the roses, you can enjoy the whole garden. Stop by or call 1-800-CHASE. Chase Manhattan.
Every business day, Delta Airlines offers New Yorkers more non-stop flights to more cities in Europe than any other airline in the world. From Paris to Moscow to Rome, Delta helps you get down to business in every corporate capital on the continent. And then we have just as many flights to bring you back to those more important meetings. Delta Airlines.
Next week is my 5th wedding anniversary. Unbelievable how time flies.
Did you get her a present yet?
Yeah, I'm getting her a really nice washer and dryer.
Oh, come on. She'll never forgive you. You gotta get her something for her. It is for her.
No blondes in bikinis.
Get her jewelry.
No sales pitch from the chairman.
Or vacation.
None of that is what made Heineken the #1 imported beer in America.
You think I should take her someplace special?
Definitely.
So maybe I'll take her to Cooperstown.
No.
The Privilege Plus card at Nobody Beats the Wiz. You pay 0% interest for 90 days. 0%. Nobody beats the Wiz.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Centers for state-of-the-art home electronics, computers, cameras, music, movies, and more. Nobody beats the Wiz. Back at Yankee Stadium with Tony Kubek, Dwayne Stats, Al Trotwood will be along next inning. It's 2-0. Toronto out in front. The Blue Jays with 2 runs in the second. Mike Gallego, Pat Kelly, and Luis Polonia at the bat for the Yankees against Pat Hentgen. Mike at 241. 6 home runs and 41 runs batted in. Facing Hentgen, who's coming off a loss his last time out. The Detroit Tigers beat him 3-2. 1 strike on the foul ball.
Still early, but this game's got to look like last night's against Ben McDonald and the Orioles, where the Yankees had just 1 hit through the first 2, and that was a little dribbler to the right side by Matt Noakes. Today, Madden sneaked one up the middle, so Hentgen looks like he's got good stuff also, as Ben did.
A ball and a strike. Out to second, grabbed by Alomar. And Gallego's the first out in the Yankee third. Well, Hentgen is 1-1 this year against the Yankees. 3-1 lifetime. Worked 8 innings of that loss against Detroit. 9 the time before that when he beat the Red Sox 6-2. Pat Kelly takes this one too low for a ball.
I mean, Hentgen's been good at home, too. I mean, he's 37-19 in the big leagues, but you look at his road record, he's 20-7. I mean, those are the kind of pitchers that are sometimes very special.
This is a foul ball. And the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. I'll tell you, there was a fan who started to climb that front railing, and I'm telling you, that was frightening. And the upper deck here going after that foul ball. Wow. There's a bunt, third base side. Sprague will not make the play as Pat Kelly bunts his way on. Pat Kelly has put down a number of sacrifice bunts this year. Puts one down for a base hit here.
One of the keys, first keep the bat as level as you can. Deaden the ball. But really, if you drop that back foot, if you're right-handed, it gives you that push-off, gives you the balance to start, and he caught Sprague. He got a good pitch, looked like a breaking ball he got to bunt also. A good pitch to bunt on and stay on top of.
Here's Luis Polonia. This one darts in too low, breaking down.
You know, that's one thing, you know, we've seen Polonia run a lot and get caught. We've seen Bernie's improving. One thing that Pat Kelly came with, his credentials out of the minor leagues, that he's going to be a good quick base stealer. But he's had some late problems the first couple of years, and I think Buck has really held back on him as far as trying to steal.
No pitch. Time called as Hentgen hung on to that pitch. Went through his delivery, but did not make the pitch.
Just one of the times where the request for time is honored too late by the home plate umpire. Tough judgment call. You know, you got a batter wanting time. He may have something in his eye. You got to protect him a little bit, but you got to show some protection to the pitcher, too.
Louis struck out his first time. Shoots this one toward the left field corner. That's a fair ball and off the wall. Kelly will go to third and stop there on the double by Polonia. So Luis Polonia continues his hot hitting and doubles into the left field corner. That's his 20th double of the year.
I think it's interesting noticing Polonia's grip on the bat. Last night we saw him against a hard-throwing Ben McDonald. Look at how far he is choked up on the bat. Realizing that Hentgen is really sneaky fast, especially upstairs. And in the first inning, I don't believe Polonia was choked up that much with that little auxiliary rubber thing there, so the hand didn't slide down. So he cut his swing down, made it more compact, and he rifles this double in the left field corner.
So the Yankees, trailing by 2, have 2 men in scoring position for Wade Boggs. Wade grounded out to shortstop his first time and goes after the first pitch, fouling it out of play, strike one. Wade in double figures with 11 home runs this year. 4 of those off Toronto pitching, and 2 of the 4 came against Pat Hentgen.
Wade showed signs yesterday of that recurring rib or side pull. That last swing, he had those hands in pretty tight. It's been bothering him for a couple of months.
He fouls this one out of play. 2 strikes. And it was when they were hurting him the most that he started hitting all those home runs.
Yeah, when he had it wrapped, he said his swing became more compact and he was able to pull the ball.
He was behind in the count. 2 strikes here.
Now 0-2. Joe Carter, the right fielder, moves way off the right field line. Doesn't feel that Wade's going to pull the ball in that area. You would expect him to get fastballs away in this situation.
And he fouls one out of play.
He's hurting. But that still might mean that he's got Hentgen in a hole, even though it's nothing in 2. With Wade in this great bat control. Wade usually definitely in these situations, driving in a runner from third with less than 2 outs or even 2 outs. Runs a fastball away, trying to make it to hit it into the defense to left field.
The 0-2 again. Upstairs. A ball and 2 strikes.
Wade's one guy where I think it almost does no good whatsoever to waste a pitch. Yeah, not 2 feet out of the zone. If you can make it a couple of inches out, I think you got a chance, but he's not going to bite in those kinds of pitches.
And he sends a fly ball into center. Tough coming in, not overly deep. The tag by Kelly. He's headed to the plate and will score. So the Yankees get on the board. Wade Boggs hit the fly ball to center, not overly deep, but Kelly scores the first run of the game for the Yankees. Polonia remained at second on the 55th run batted into the year for Wade Boggs.
From up top, the Perry Ellis look. You can see how important scouting reports are. Not hit very deep. You got him in on his fist a little bit, on the fist. Scouting report from Ted Eulander, probably watching Mike Huff, saying his throwing arm is not that strong, and Pat with his quickness, not even close.
Paul O'Neill takes ball 1. So the Yankees, with 2 outs now, have the tying run at second. It's a 2-1 ball game. Borders out to talk with Hentgen. Ball hitting .363.
Could be a reminder from Borders. Hey, look, you got first base open. O'Neill's leading the league. You got Tartable, a right-hander, up. Would you rather go to him? We'll see how he nibbles away, if in fact he does, at Paul O'Neill with first base open and 2 outs.
Now a pickoff play at second. Polonia back in. That's Schofield taking the throw. So the Yankees have turned the bunt single by Pat Kelly into a run. thanks to the double by Polonia and the sacrifice fly by Boggs. Hentgen stays away. 2 balls, no strikes.
Different managers operate differently. You get a Sparky Anderson, he may just automatically say, give him 4. Let's get the Tartable, get the matchup. Sparky usually leads the league in intentional walks given up.
The 2-0. And he catches the strike zone there.
Say, speaking of Sparky, you've been reading the articles the last couple of days about the possibility his job is in jeopardy with the Tigers, and the owner, Mr. Ilitch, Mike Ilitch, might want to bring somebody else in. Joe Klein, the GM, says no truth to the story.
There's ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Danny Tartable on deck.
Think he's going to throw him a fastball. I think he's going to throw him a hawk.
I'd be very surprised to see the hard stuff here, even though it's 3-1.
Out of the zone.
And he kept it away from him and walked him. First walk given up by Hentgen. First and second with 2 outs for Danny Tartable.
Sometimes you wonder why you waste 4 or 5 pitches in a pitcher's arm when you're going to pitch around him anyway, huh?
And there's always the possibility that you might make a mistake if you're trying to pitch around somebody and make a pitch in a location that you live to regret. So maybe Sparky Anderson's got the right idea. Tartable fouls it back, strike 1.
Here's one guy can throw that high fastball like Mike Mussina, like Roger Clemens. There are not a lot of right-handers who can pitch hard upstairs and get away with it. And he's got that ride to it where you'll get guys to swing at that fastball right at the letters.
Tartable fouled the first pitch up there back. O'Neill at first, Polonia on second base. Too close. 1 ball and 1 strike.
There's that little pitch, I believe, that little cut fastball really is in place of the slider that Galen Cisco, the pitching coach, worked on with him, and had a little action sailing away from the right-handers or sailing into the left-handers.
Too close. This one stayed in. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, here's the guy he wants to get because he sees Mattingly out of the corner of his eye in the on-deck circle.
Don singled his first time, hitting 5th in the Yankee lineup. The 2-1 pitch. There's a drive deep to left by Tartable, and that baby is gone. Danny Tartable hits a 2-1 pitch out, and the Yankees take the 4-2 lead. Tartable's 19th home run of the year. Danny Tartable just back in the Yankee lineup today after he was hit in the elbow by that pitch Monday. X-rays were negative, and Tartable connects. That's the 3rd home run he's hit off Toronto pitching this year, and this one gives the Yankees a 4-2 lead.
Danny works a favorable count, and he got his fastball.
Now Don Mattingly takes a strike. 21st home run of the year given up by Pat Hentgen. A big cut by Mattingly. He took a rip there and is behind 0-2. Here's the home run pitch and the cut.
2-1. Borders wants it inside, and the ball sneaks to the center of the plate. I think you ought to admire that one.
Outside. That's the first home run for Tartable since July the 19th. Count still a ball, 2 strikes with that foul ball. His last home run came against the Athletics out in Oakland. And Danny on that West Coast swing hit 3 home runs, including the grand slam up in Seattle. He connects off Hentgen today. A 3-run shot. 2 balls, 2 strikes here. The count to Don Mattingly.
See him try that splitter, the thing he's using for a changeup, and that's what Cito and Galen Cisco thought. He needs a third pitch. I mean, as good as he's been.
Line drive to third as Sprague sticks that glove up and makes the grab. That retires the side, but the Yankees come up with a 4-run third. Al Trotwood will be along through 3, 4-2 Yankees.
Tri-State GMC truck dealers congratulate Captain Mark Messier and the rest of the 1994 Stanley Cup champion New York Rangers.
Okay, so I tend to put things off. For me, the time just has to be right. Like, I meet this amazing girl, and she's coming over tonight. It's like with Rogaine. I've been meaning to check it out. This is important to me. I thought about calling lots of times. You know when I called? Today. This was my time.
It could be your time, too. To find out more about Rogaine with minoxidil, call this 800 number now. You'll get a free information kit filled with facts to help answer your questions about Rogaine. And since you need a prescription to get Rogaine, you'll also get a list of local doctors offering a free private consultation to help you decide if Rogaine is right for you. So call today.
Hi.
Hi. Nice place.
Call now, 1-800-809-0111 for a free information kit.
Yankee fans, gear up for your chance to win a 1995 Eagle Vision TSI in the Jeep Eagle Home Run Inning. You can also win Yankee tickets and baseball caps. Just pick the Yankee who you think will hit the most homers between August 22nd and September 22nd during the Jeep Eagle Home Run Inning. Then send in the player's name on a postcard along with your name, address, and phone number to the Jeep Eagle Home Run Inning, P.O. Box JAF 3210, New York, New York 10116. Then watch the Yankees starting August 22nd to see if you're a winner.
Yankee Baseball on MSG is brought to you in part by Reebok, who believes in the athlete, in all of us. A cloud hangs over the stadium in all of baseball. Al Trautwig along with Tony Kubek. Hi, everybody. And Tony, I don't think there's any getting over the strange feeling that I have, you probably have, and I think the fans do too.
I think I'm past the point of anger. It's gotten frustrating. You know who I blame.
Well, yes. What is beyond your point of anger? What comes after that for you?
Frustration, disappointment.
Yeah, all those
Add
things.
some more.
John Olerud bounces this ball foul off of Melido Perez, who, courtesy of Danny Tartabull, has a 4-2 lead. That was some rip by Tartabull that got out of the stadium in a hurry.
Are you going to share some of the thoughts, the conversation with Mr. Steinbrenner? Anything substantive?
I spoke to George a few minutes ago in response to an article in the Philadelphia Inquirer that made some news today about George saying some things about elements of the strike. He went on to say that he does believe that the owners should be directly involved in the negotiations. There's Gallego. And he believes that that will, quote-unquote, happen very soon, that the owners will be directly involved in the negotiations with Richard Ravitch. So he told me that.
Did he say why they haven't been involved at this point? Because the players keep inviting him to be there. There were over a dozen players at the session yesterday, including Steve Howe, and George Schilling came up from Philadelphia and many others.
I did not ask him that question, but I will guess that it was the initial thought to put faith in Richard Ravitch. Anyway, he did also say that the competitive balance of baseball is one of the things that has to be preserved, and this is something we argued about last night. I don't necessarily want to get into it again, but he did say it's great that with their low salary structure, the Montreal Expos, here's Wade Boggs, are the best team in baseball, but at the moment they do that, they'll become the Pittsburgh Pirates of 1994 and lose their players.
Well, isn't that what competitive balance is, though? You want to spread the winning around. Isn't that what's happening for the last 20, 22 years?
No, Tony, that's not right, and you know it. That's not right, and you can't have that.
It's already happening. There is competitive balance.
There is none. What's going to happen next year to the Montreal Expos? They're done.
You want to bet?
If not next year, the year after. And once they're dismantled, they're gone for 4 or 5 years.
Isn't that what you talk about, competitive balance? Pittsburgh won it 3 years in a row, and now they're rebuilding. Oakland had a good long run. They're rebuilding. Isn't that what you're talking about? Spreading the winning around? Isn't that what we're talking about? Are you talking about spreading the money away, the socialistic way?
I'm not talking about
Well,
doing
what are you
anything
talking about?
socialistic. We have a unique sport here that can't be compared to any other business in the world.
Because of the antitrust exemption. That's one of the things that allows it to be a monopoly.
No, it's not. That's not the thing that makes it so difficult. If General Motors wants to compete with another car manufacturer, they just go into that city and open up a dealership. Baseball, you can't do that. And so you have an unlevel...
What do you mean? The Dodgers didn't do that and the Giants didn't do that? What are you talking about? The Braves didn't do that, go to Milwaukee, and then go to... What do you mean they can't do that?
In time.
It's been done time and time again.
We'll hit the pause button and come back in a moment on MSG, where Melido Perez gets out of the inning with a little help from his friends. Yankees up 4-2. Back in a moment.
I'm bored. Let's count the palm trees again. Why are you looking at me like that, Iggy? You okay? Get it out. You're weirding me, man. Stop looking at me like that, would ya? You're creeping me out. Cut that out, man.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Iggy, you're gonna twist my head off. Iggy.
Go down to the river. Go down to the river.
For all the ways there are to work up a thirst, 7-Eleven has over 300 ways to quench it. No one puts out a fire like 7-Eleven.
Nothing like getting into a good bestseller. And your Ford dealer has 5 of the 10 bestsellers in America. Not surprising. They wrote the book on value.
Now's the time to save on your Ford dealer's full line of best-selling trucks, like the Ford Explorer, the F-150, and the Ranger.
This is a real page-turner.
Every truck is built Ford tough, and all are #1 in their class.
Your Ford dealers had 5 of the 10 bestsellers in America for 6 straight years. See your Ford dealer. See for yourself.
Flack attack by Red E-Game. Ever been attacked? Get flack. Forget that other crap. Too expensive and whack. Get Flack Man, Flack Man, Flack Man, Flack, 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 Flack.